Hey folks, look at this mess. Would you look at this mess? Don't look at that mess, that's scrap bowl.
I've got
What are you doing
two
over here?
more bags of peppers in the refrigerator.
What are you doing over here?
I'm cutting up bell peppers to make pepper jelly and also to go in the freezer.
Where'd all them come from?
The garden. There's still a whole bunch of little bitty ones out there. I don't know what most of them I'm going to try and let them ripen. But, I mean, I don't know. I could make green tomato relish. I just don't feel like it.
Did your weather change?
Yes. It's supposed to get a frost, I mean.
So that's why you went out and picked everything?
Yeah.
So you don't lose it?
Yeah.
I understand.
I mean, I don't feel good, but I don't want to waste it.
No, I don't either. I understand that.
So, I'm cutting up a bunch of these mini bell peppers to go in the freezer. Now, I lost these banana peppers. I left them in the fridge without using them for too long. These are some spicy Cubanelles, and I could go out there right now and pick probably 3-gallon bags of hot peppers. I didn't pick the hot peppers. This is just sweet peppers. All of these, I'm going to make a sweet pepper jelly. And then I think I'm going to make a Christmas jelly with the rest of the green bell peppers and these Cubanelles.
Oh, yeah. Spicy Christmas.
Red and green.
Spicy Christmas. I like it.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Freeze some too to have all winter. Just using the food processor.
It's a lot easier to chop with a food processor.
Yeah.
Are you chopping? Are you pureeing? Are you...
I'm trying to not do it too fine. You don't want mush. You don't want it pureed for this recipe.
You want it to have a little bit of texture.
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is more than I think this is about what I'll need. A cup and a half of bell pepper, and we're substituting sweet peppers for jalapenos because we don't want this spicy. So about 2 cups is what we'll use.
Okay, this is 1.25 cups of vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar. You can, I think the recipe called for either one, apple cider or white.
Yeah, you can use either one.
Okay. What was our sugar amount?
5 cups.
We had it wrote down somewhere.
I've got it over there. I'll go get it in just a
5 cups. This is 5 cups of sugar. Okay. 1/4 cup of lime juice. What am I doing? We're guessing on that. Because we used vinegar where it says a teaspoon of salt, we're going to use pickling salt. I'll have to go get it.
Does it taste different?
No, but I'm not big on mixing iodized table salt. And you could use sea salt or something, but I'm not. Iodized table salt and vinegar don't always go well together. Teaspoon, tablespoon. Says to bring all of that to a boil, stirring often, and then we'll reduce heat but maintain a boil for 10 minutes before we add in 1 pouch of liquid pectin. Boil another minute, remove. Okay, so we need to get this up to a boil. We're gonna, don't use any kind of aluminium. Yeah, don't use any aluminum. Use
Aluminium.
pots or utensils when making anything with vinegar, or it's going to get a metallic taste that you're not going to like.
So you need to use a wooden spoon.
Or plastic. Glass. It's going to be a pretty jelly, I think. You could put food coloring in here to make the jelly part, instead of it being clear or yellow. You could make it pink or green or whatever. I think we're going to make one with jalapeno, or with green bell peppers and red Cubanelle peppers. of the red and the green. It'll be Christmassy. You gotta boil it for get it to boil, and then boil it 10 minutes. If you don't stir it pretty often, it'll stick, burn. You don't want your jelly to be burnt. I'm gonna have to put lime juice on my grocery list.
Now, is this pretty much the same process doing, like, say, grape jelly?
Grape jelly, I mean, some things about it are, like, you always have to use a lot of sugar with jelly. And you can do pectin or not with fruit. Pectin is what makes it get thick, and some fruit naturally has pectin, but these peppers don't. Not that I know of, anyway. But you'll use juice, grape juice or something like that to make jelly.
Oh, okay.
You could buy store-bought juice and make jelly with it. Apple juice or something. You just have to get you some pectin. I got this pectin at a discount place for $1.89, which is pretty cheap for pectin. But I've never used it. So we used a Pomona pectin on the last batch, and I I could have done 5 batches of jelly for the amount of pectin I put in there. I know better now. But that's where we're at. We gotta wait and let this come to a boil.
So when you're not thinking about it or anything, whether it's mac and cheese or whatever it is, and you stick your stick in there to stir something, do you stir counterclockwise or do you stir clockwise?
I usually do clockwise. Not that it matters, probably.
No, it does.
Does it?
Yeah, I read up on it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the correct way?
Counterclockwise.
Really?
Yep. If you stir it clockwise, it means you're a weirdo.
Oh, really? I guess I'm a weird. I do clockwise.
Yep. You're a weirdo.
I probably am. I married you. But
By the way, folks, it's always good to have a Google Dot or an Alexa or something in your kitchen. That way you can just say, the word Alexa or the, I'm not going to say the G word out loud or else it'll answer me, but you can set an alarm for like 10 minutes for stirring. It sure helps a lot. And if you hear a lot of loud noises, it's also because the dishwashers are going. All right, Google timer went off. We've been stirring for 10 minutes.
and now we got to add 1 pouch. These are 3-ounce pouches of liquid pectin. This is a Certo. And it'll boil for 1 more minute, and then we'll turn it off.
All right.
Okay, Google, set a timer for 1 minute.
Got it. 1 minute. And that's starting now.
This is what makes your jelly gel, is pectin. Without it, you're making syrup. some of your fruit is naturally got more gel than others. Is it starting to feel like it's thickening? Usually you can start to kind of...
I don't know, maybe a little bit on the bottom.
Now this jelly can be refrigerated or canned. We're using our steam canner. It's newly approved by the USDA. Okay, Google, cancel timer. It's newly approved by the USDA, but you'll use the same times as you would for water bathing, and in the steam canner you can water bath for up to 45 minutes. To can this, you're going to use half-pint jars, 1/4-inch headspace, and you're going to process them for 10 minutes in your canner. I want to let this cool for about 5 minutes, and what that'll do, if you continuously stir and let your jelly cool for about 5 minutes, instead of your fruit rising to the top of your jar, it should kind of stay throughout the jelly and be just doesn't affect the taste. It just makes it look nicer. It changed its colors, didn't it?
Yep.
It's going to be more of a golden, like a autumn harvest.
I don't know
Colors.
about harvest or whatever.
Yeah, autumn harvest colors. My jars are sterilizing in the steam canner. Instead of having to put them in boiling water, I can just stick them in there, and when it's time to fill them up, I just take them out. I'm loving that steam canner. Yeah. Got a few seeds I missed when I was de-seeding.
That's all right.
But that's okay. Not very many. It's a good way to not... I mean, peppers make a lot... I mean, they're very productive. Especially this year. It's a good way not to waste them.
Yep.
And put some of this on... get you a block of cream cheese. And let it get room temperature. And then put you a jar of... half a jar of this pepper jelly on top of it. And dip your crackers in it. And it's really good. We'll make another batch at a later time that's spicy. Right. It's probably not been 5 minutes, but it's okay. My plastic ladle is in the dishwasher. I'm going to use a measuring cup. We're going to pull this over. It'll help save your stove, even though mine had a boil over yesterday of dumplings and I ain't cleaned it up yet. You're good. I'm just trying to remember where I'm at. Get my jellies in it. I have more jars than I'm going to need, but it's okay. One thing about the steam canner, because the water is below your jars, you don't have to worry about anything falling over by being boiled and knocked out of place. So you ain't got to fill it so full like you do a water bath or a PC. Got our jars out, and now we're going to put the lid back on so we don't lose our heat over here. Pull my jelly over close. My jars over close. These are 1/4-inch headspace. what that means is at the top of the jar, you need to leave a 1/4 inch open with no jelly in it. I like to make sure that I got all air out of everything before I clean them rims and cap it. It's gonna be a pretty jelly.
It's definitely golden.
Yeah. Notice how the fruit is staying down into, it's not really rising so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we let it cool for just a minute. Hopefully it won't go back up when we process it. And this stuff is hot, buddy.
Oh, I'm sure.
You don't want to get it on your skin. It's lava. Looks like we're going to get a little over 5 jars. Now, but this jar may not be full. It's not. So what I'll do is, instead of processing that jar, I'm going to let it cool and it'll go straight into the fridge, and that's the first one we'll use.
That makes sense.
What I'll do now is I'm going to tap them a little bit so any bubbles can come on up to the top. And I'll get some white vinegar and clean around the rims good before we tap them. Or I'll just use water. We ain't got that many to do. The reason you gotta clean your the rims off of any of the sugar, jelly, anything like that, is if you don't, that lid ain't gonna seal. It'll compromise your seal. It'll compromise, it'll get between that seal in the jar rim and it won't seal. These jars are fingertip tight. That's how you seal them. You don't want them too tight or that lid will buckle when it's processing. These new ball lids, I don't know, something to me not quite jiving with them this year. I haven't lost a lot of them. Of course, it's early, but it is not a tight seal. Not like I'm used to with it, and it concerns me. We'll see. It is hot stuff. These make real nice gifts to give to people for Christmas. Now, I'm noticing on this one that the fruit is starting to rise in it. So I probably should have stirred it longer after I turned the heat off. It isn't affecting the taste, but for the looks of it. Whew. Now that one that's going in the fridge, I ain't worried about wiping it off because it's going in the fridge. Put it in there after it's cool so it doesn't affect the temperature of your fridge. Now these are going to go back into this steam canner to process for 10 minutes. And on your steam canner, there's a gauge on top. Where's my one that I wasn't supposed to process? Right here. There's a gauge on this with an arrow. And once them two are once that you've calibrated it where you want it and they're together, then you'll start your timer for 10 minutes. That's where we're at. Okay, our canner time has went off. We processed in the steam canner for 10 minutes for half pints of pepper jelly. After the processing time, we turned it off and let the heat kind of go down for 5 minutes so you don't get siphoning off. And what that is you pull this lid off and it can cause the jelly in that jar to siphon up out of the jar. I heard one already sealed. Did you hear it?
There's another.
I'll just set them over to the side. Now, you're not going to want to mess with these jars of jelly. Pick them up, do anything with them for at least 12 to 24 hours so you don't ruin your seals. You ruin your seals, you can't put your jelly on the shelf. You have to put it in the fridge. We'll check these in a couple of 3 or 4 hours to see if they've sealed, if they've all pinged. But sometimes it might be 5 or 6 hours before they'll ping. So don't give up till the next morning. And if you have some that haven't, take that lid off. Get your jelly back to a boil and do everything. Reprocess it again. You're good to do that if you don't want to put it in the fridge. But yep, that's
Pretty sure they've all pinged, but this one and that one.
Don't think this one has.
It's popped up.
Yeah, popped up means they haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, I see 3 popped up.
Yeah, that digit will suck down and make a pinging sound. Even the one we got in the fridge, I heard just a second ago. I heard it, but it's not shelf stable because it wasn't processed. Pepper jelly.
Pepper jelly. Get you some.